And this is where I put a trophy. If I had one!
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Do you remember last week's video where I said today's video could go one of two ways, where I either end up with ML Bellona and like have fun testing her stats, or get really bitter and just bully people who have ML Bellona on ladder? Well, I didn't get ML Bellona after like 120 pulls, but I'm not like bitter about her or anything.
Sure, Jan.
But no, I'm really bitter. I'm a hater, and I accept that. And because I'm ML Bellona, or Bellona, I'll call her Bellona because like I like Bellona. Bellona did not return my advances of 120 mystic pulls, so just like my Tinder date, they're getting canceled. So basically, what I've seen from a lot of other people like trying Bellona, or like just like looking at Bellona, is that Bellona has a few weaknesses. Bellona's really squishy. Like, she doesn't have any defensive passives. Like, the way I was theory crafting using her is using her as like an anchor style hot mommy unit like Sage, Vivian, and Arya, but she doesn't really have defensive passives. Like, Arya is built really tanky and slow, and I guess you can do it with ML Bellona too, but it makes you really have to think about picking her into the last slot. My opponent honestly just tried to go like anti-Cleave, like anti-C Lilius, but I wasn't too concerned. I'm pretty sure my Acid outspeeds his Zahhak because Acid has like 10 base speed above my opponent, and then we just went for the rest of my draft to be Cleave units. I won't be greedy with souls here. I'm not too sure how much this FCC mitigates, so I just go for the soul burn. Probably overkill him by like a bunch of health. Like, no, actually it might have mattered just because it had immunity, so it is kind of important that I do strip. But this is what I mean, like ML Bellona doesn't have any defensive passive. She doesn't have damage share, she doesn't have self cleanse, she doesn't have anything, so she just gets stripped and CC'd. And well, my opponent wouldn't let me take out vent my frustrations, I should say, by S3ing her with Stenny. But yeah, on to the next match. If you would like to support my channel and like my Mimi content, here's the section of the video where I self-show myself. Please like and subscribe if you want to. Leave a non-comment if you want to. Like, anyway, another superstar of this patch is actually Tywin. I didn't recognize it at first. I thought Tywin would be more used in like aggro setups as an answer to like Sage Ball or whatever, but I realized that Tywin's actually really good into aggressive comps, because aggressive comps usually have some sort of debuff that can be dispelled, because like all units, or like a lot of units, have like added effects tacked on. And another thing is that Tywin really benefits from no immunity, but since aggressive turns usually go first, even if you have immunity set, unless you're using like DJB or something, your units are really naked and unprotected. And a lot of popular units right now have extra turn soul burns that like they like to use, like Ida, Stenny, like Melissa, lol. They also have like extra turn soul burns, so having Tywin there is really annoying, because even though he doesn't decrease speed anymore, and that was like better for like solos, like the decreased defense is actually really impactful because it lets you get like ground down by like these squishy slow bruisers on Cleave units. Anyway, we go for the start of this match. I didn't S3 just because I didn't actually want to proc Tywin's battle command. And there is an interaction that I do find out here. It's that with Bryceria and Tywin, since Bryceria lands 2 debuffs, Death Break and Unbuffable, I learned that if you land both onto Tywin, the unbuffable sticks. So you'll see here that even though battle command procs, Tywin's rage doesn't get activated, or like he can't get rage, so he doesn't ignore ER or anything. Luckily though, my opponent's units look like they have no ER, so this Karina isn't too threatening. we managed to kill off this Lionheart Zermia, but it might be a little sus, honestly. We have Celius plus Lidica to maybe try and like grind my opponent's team down really slowly. We luckily did get the reset onto Handguy though, so Handguy can't actually cleanse the unbuffable off either. Handguy is just free to like push my opponent's units by 15%. But this is what I mean, like imagine if this was ignore ER. So that's kind of bad, even though the stun is not 100%. Most of my units get stunned anyway, which is like, it's one of those things with like Sage Ball where Sage Ball sleep chance is only like 85%, but when you're against Sage Ball, it's 100%. But if you're using Sage Ball, it's actually 0%. And I have a feeling that Atywin is going to be in a very similar vein. But I think Atywin is going to see a lot of use as an anti-aggression unit because, you know, like AoE hits, debuffs being incredibly strong, and that ignore ER, S3 with a decrease, CD soul burn that's really cheap being annoying. And Atywin's also obnoxious. He has that like stupid like soul removal shit on his S1 too, so him grinding other units down is kind of like sus. Anyway, we don't really have a choice. We kind of just have to continually grind my opponent down. ML Pavel got, you know, useless crippled useless crippled by the Atywin stun, but thankfully being like 310 speed is just really balanced when you're going up against units that are like 180 speed at best, because you can continuously lap them. But I digress. And this is gonna be a match where you get to see like all the fun stuff about ML Bellona. A lot of people have been underestimating her or like overhyping her. I think that ML Bellona falls into the area of like very balanced. Like she has a defined niche that she excels in, but like a lot of hard counters to her exist that don't make her like Adin tier or like APOC tier or like Steny tier. And I think that's pretty good. Like it's like Sylvan Sage Vivian and like a little better than Spirit Eye Celine. But my opponent's picking like really tanky here, as you can see. Like he picked he picked Handguy Aras, which is a pretty normal core. He picked DJB to be anti-debuffs. And I, being upset that I don't have ML Bellona, am like, bet, I'm gonna cleave you. So I rounded out the draft with Commander Pavel and Ida, just because even through Aras's Adamant Shield, I'm pretty sure my Commander Pavel should be able to one-shot this Bellona. And no matter what my opponent bans here, I think I'm fine. I have a feeling that he might ban like Lidica or something, but yeah. See, once you play a lot of standard matches, you get very used to what standard players are going to ban. But oh, this is pretty surprising. My Ida actually outspeeds my DJB, and just because that means DJB can't cut even if he is on Eternatus, I decide to start pressing my buttons. I was contemplating soul burning, but then realized there was no point, and I just go for the S2 on the DJB on the off chance I actually get the stun. But it won't matter too much because I'm about to push this Handguy back and then push my Commander Pavel up by like 70% thanks to Ida. So woo, wow, Cleave, very fun, right? But yeah, as I said, Aras actually dies from the spill damage, but my opponent won't let me press S3.
Why are you running?
Which is honestly kind of poetic, because my whole mission when I played this day was to make sure that no ML Bellona user actually got to use their S3 against me. Because if I'm being really honest, it is a really nice animation and she is very pretty, and I wish I had her, but unfortunately I cannot make that happen. But yeah, we're just gonna move on to the next match. There was actually a lot of people that picked Bellona on the first day she was out, like unsurprisingly. There's a lot of hype around her, and that is something I found curious about, like which units get hype and which units don't, because usually ML5 testing videos are the best performing videos on my channel. Like Zio and Commander Pavel like really popped off. Like Commander Pavel is what really kickstarted my channel, like that video. And Zio honestly did the same thing like later, but like when I tested Death Dealer Ray, like that video flopped. Like, oh my god, people really were not on that DDR train. And honestly, I was not at first, but like I really want to try him again. I heard after his buffs, he's much more of like a standalone unit that can punish standard players. So I'm always down for like bullying standard players, you know? My opponent here picks Bellona, of course. So we definitely have to punish that as hard as we can. But I think I make a mistake here. I think I should have just ignored the Celine and picked like lidica, but I really wanted to go for the counter onto the FCC for whatever reason, and end up picking BBK just because BBK doesn't care about Celine, and honestly Adin doesn't either. But then I end up picking Sand Guy here just for to like counter FCC and to CR push, and then my opponent picks a Tywin. In all honesty, I think I should have banned a Tywin, or I should have banned FCC, or like even Hand Guy. But then I get everything in the worst way possible, if you know what I mean. As you notice, like none of my units are actually on immunity because my Stanny's on pen set. Adin like has evasion. Oh my god, lol. We are able to go here first. And I was contemplating soul burning the S2 into Hand Guy, but like it actually gets resisted, so that's kind of an L. And so I decided to just go into the Adin here with my S3 and just test the damage. Pretty good, honestly, considering it's behind FCC. But unfortunately, my Adin does not have attack buff and only vigor, so it's not able to kill. My opponent goes for the counterattack to proc a Tywin's battle command, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be bad. It's okay though, I'm sure it's fine. We have BBK coming up, but my BBK is actually too slow to cut this FCC because my BBK is only like 180 speed, so they're able to get skill nulls up, especially since Denny got 80% checked. And then I'm pretty sure this ML Bellona kills my Adin through miss because she does so much chip damage. And she does, which is quite unfortunate. So I opt to hold my BBK's S3 here, hoping that maybe she can lap. But it's not looking too good, in all honesty. My Stenny dies to all the AoE damage from FCC S3 and then ML Bellona S2, so yeah, I think ML Bellona is like a nice 1v4 unit, and like all 1v4 units, it just means that she can't be drafted like super early, like Arya or like Landy. Though I guess Stenny can, because Stenny's very balanced. Anyway, we have one chance left. We have vigor, we have everything, but this ML Bellona gave vigor to her entire team because it killed my Adin. So I failed to pick up the KO on anything, and although my BBK does manage to land another hit,
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
or like live a hit from ML Bellona, it doesn't matter. And we got soloed by Bellona. So I took like emotional damage there, which is kind of unlucky, but it's fine. There's plenty of more people to bully on ladder. Oh, and speaking of the devil, my opponent picks Hand Guy, which is a low tempo unit. So you know what that means. I'm gonna pick lidica, and I'm gonna pick Adin since Stenny's banned. And Steny, not Steny, and Adin is a cringe unit, I'm not gonna lie, but she's just too good, you know, like she's just like a Swiss army knife that kind of deals with everything, that does everything. Like she does a lot of damage, she has utility, she like self buffs herself, she has lifesteal. And if you didn't know, by the way, this Lua's ungeared, but do you remember my video on Lua and testing her out on standard players? What I learned from playing Lua is that people will actually opt to ban Lua if she's available because she's just like that broken. So knowing this, I pick Lua even though she's ungeared. Literally nothing. Like, oh no, she's holding Guiding Light because my Leica's not wearing it, because my Leica's on Spatial Temporal Fan right now, but my Lua literally 0 gear, nothing on. I pick a Ravi just as an anchor into Lionheart and ML Bellona, and I opt to ban Sage Vivian. Sage Ball, Sage Ugly. And I'm just waiting for my opponent to ban, and what do you know? Standard player is banning Lua because she's broken as hell. So, kind of a mind game there, but luckily we are able to go first. We're able to strip everything off, including the Carmen, which I was kind of surprised about because my Flitica's on like middling effectiveness, you know? But pray for the reset onto Hangai, and we get it, thank God. We get the Cpavel follow-up attack. And look, ML Bellona, even though she countered the skill nulls from Lidica, keep us safe. I was thinking about using this S3 onto ML Bellona, but then I was thinking like maybe like Adin would be better to use the S3. So I was thinking like Adin should be able to kill this ML Bellona, right? Like you get like bonus 50% pen, it's advantageous element. I guess we don't have offensive buffs, but still. But surprisingly, this ML Bellona does survive. And so I'm able to just finish off with APOC. And, you know, this hand guy doesn't really have much choice on what to do. And this liner doesn't really have a choice either. But judging by how my opponent does not have Proof of Valor, or did they? Yeah, they have Portrait of the Saviors. This is actually not a lifesteal Lionheart, so they end up going down to my Adin counterattack. Girl, bye! And another ML Bellona tester brought to justice, you know? And then going into the next match, my opponent actually makes a pretty strange pre-ban here with Celine. So I was like, okay. And it makes sense if they want to use like Leica with ML Bellona or whatever. So I already see what my opponent's trying to do. So I pick more aggressive picks like Adin, just because Adin is good into like a S3 off if she dodges. Like very conditional if she dodges. But we can hope. And my opponent picks like a double Bellona draft. So I'm like double triggered. So I have to try extra hard to win this game. I pick Steny because Steny is just a good safe DPS, and I actually pick Ida here as a follow-up to Conquer Lilius, but I have a feeling that he's gonna ban my C Lilius and try to race my Flitica with Mage Frenzy. But my Flitica's on the faster side, like 285. It's slow for a fast Flitica, but it's fast for a slow Flitica. You know, she's like kind of in the middle ground, but luckily we are able to outspeed this stupid Dizzy, which is like a unit that used to give me PTSD when I first started, and I saw her everywhere in arena and stuff. But yeah, we're able to push up. I think this was a mistake, considering I was about to push above his team anyway. I think I should have just reset hand guy and I've been safe there, but you know, whatever. You live and you learn. We're still like pretty far above hand guy, so I feel pretty safe to just go into this ML Bellona and take out my frustrations on not being able to pull her. And she actually dies because there's no mitigation, which is kind of tragic. And we're able to continue just ramming our units' faces into my opponent's team. And not mad about it. Not mad about it at all. ML Bellona's, not ML Bellona, like SSB is able to counter a second time, but whatever. Get these stupid Bellonas out of my face since they didn't want to be pulled by me. And look at that. Another Bellona enthusiast brought to justice. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to continue trying for ML Bellona. I do think she's a nice unit, like Sylvan Sage Vivian to have, but then again, I don't have like the counter or lifesteal gear to make her work. But we'll have to see. And oh, look at that. So basically this guy is testing out the Rand skin, I guess. And he is kind of hot, but after reading the side story, Rand is a simp. So he's cancelled too, you know? So we're doing a good and honest speed race. I kind of wish I could have picked Weedred here, but I opt for the Shuri speed imprint because it's the largest one that isn't Surin, and I go for my second speedy opener in Asen. And I think I just banned my opponents last year. Well, if it's a speed imprint, I might just ban Vildred because Vildred has the potential to be a larger one. But we'll have to see. What's it gonna be, guy? Is it gonna be BBK? Is it gonna be Kayron? Is it gonna be like Fire Surin? And oh, it's Kayron. Not fully awakened, but I'm not gonna take the chances. I am confident that my Conqueror Laius outspeeds, so surely I win this. Surely I win this. It might be a little sketchy if they ban Conqueror Laius, but it turns out they don't. And so we're able to just stack speed imprints onto my two openers. So it's 24 speed against 22 speed. So it's like pretty even though Rand has like 10 base speed up on C. Lilius because he's fair and balanced. And this is what like speed set accounted for. But yeah, everyone loves a good race. So here I am punishing these cringe cleavers, and we're able to outspeed. So we're able to get mileage
And that's it.
from the cash Lua gift, and my opponent forfeits. But that's it for today's video. I kind of wish I could have tested ML Bellona, but she did not like me back. Just like my Valentine's. But I'll catch y'all next time.